All right, everyone. So today we'll be starting with a modified pigeon stretch for this SI joint slash hip mobility drill. Now, as you can see, as I shift my body weight to my left, I'm trying to get that left knee across my body. Same thing on the right side here. I keep my right knee to the side of my body, trying to push my weight into that hip. So give it a try. You should feel it right away. Now, from this next angle, you'll be able to see where I kind of keep my hips and pelvis oriented in a specific degree. So I'm trying not to let my butt basically roll toward the camera. It does a little bit, but I'm trying to keep my weight turned in toward the thigh. And you'll be able to see better from this side. So as I shift my body weight to the right, I'm keeping my hips in, right? Trying to shift my body weight into that right hip. If you give it a try, you should know what I mean by what you feel. So for the next part here, we're going to mobilize the hips a little bit. So now that I've opened up the back of those hips and stretched a bit, I'm going to get into this half kneeling position. I'm going to shift my weight forward, turn my hips left, and let the right knee stay out. And then on to reciprocate there, I'm turning into the hip, trying to keep the knee in. So right knee goes out as the right hip goes forward here. And then as I pull back into that hip, I turn my weight into the inside of that thigh, right? So I'm turning my left hip in, now I'm turning my left hip out, keeping my right knee in, and then keeping my right knee out. So same thing on this side here. Hopefully this will make a little more sense if you give it a try, but as I drive my left hip forward, I'm keeping my left knee out. And then as I drag my left hip back, I'm keeping my left knee in. So it's very important, and you'll see from the next view about what I'm kind of trying to do here with the orientation of my femur in relation to my hips. But the whole point of this here is to mobilize specifically the SI joint, and it takes a little bit of concentration to do that, right? So we're going to make sure that those hips are nice and square. We don't have one hiked up more than the other, and if you do, don't overthink it. You can always ask me in person. I can try and help you with that if you need a little more assistance. But notice my femur position. My thigh pretty much stays on the same line of motion here, right? So even though I'm shifting my hips, and you'll notice if you try this, that knee is going to want to wander. That thigh is going to want to move. So as I shift forward, I'm pushing my knee out. Can't tell, but I'm keeping it out. And as I shift back, I'm keeping my knee in. Again, you can't really see you can't see what I'm feeling, but when you try it, you should notice what I mean. So again, hips are nice and square, not hiked up. That can be a challenge on its own. So again, if you need help, just let us know when you come into the gym. So shifting that hip forward, shifting that hip back, trying to pull back into that hip there, get some relief behind the left hip, shifting that knee forward and out, shifting that knee in and back. So I'm kind of oscillating into that little twist there just to get a little extra bounce into that joint range of motion that I'm looking for. So knee right in front of the hip. It's going to be important for this next part of the drill where you keep that knee right in front of the hip. You want that femur lined up right there. I'm going to coil, is what we call, turn into that hip, and I'm going to provide my own resistance. I'm pushing my knee into my hand and my hand into my knee. That's going to activate those adductors, basically that groin area, which helps basically based on its line of pull, keeping more adductor tension or activity will help relieve the SI joint's pressure. You'll have to take my word for it, at least for this video, but give it a try. Right, so I'm driving my hand into my knee into my hand. And what you'll also be able to see from this next view here that you couldn't see from the previous one is that I'm focusing on trying to tuck my tailbone. And you can also review other videos. You may have seen that slight tilt there as I push. So hand into the knee into the hand. I'm also trying to tuck my tailbone. So you'll be able to see a little bit from here. It's a very slight movement right there. I'm rolling those hips back as I drive my hand into my knee. Now you can review the other video on the pelvic tilt. That can help provide more context for this if you want. But for the most part, that's about it. I'm going to stretch out again after I mobilize those hips. I'm going to try and create some more length behind the pelvis with my modified pigeon stretch. Give it a try. Thanks for watching, and I hope this helps. Thanks.